The Secretary General of Lebanon's Hezbollah movement says resistance is the only way to liberate Palestine from Israeli occupation.
Today, this renewed Intifada, it is the real hope, the only hope to rid the Palestinians of the occupation, and it is the real means to protect Al-Aqsa Mosque and the sanctities, and everyone has a responsibility to stand side by side with this Intifada and to support it.
Addressing a memorial ceremony for a senior Hezbollah commander killed in Syria, Hassan Nasrallah said the resistance movement will stand by Palestinians and support their fight against Israel by all means. Nasrallah called on all Muslim countries to uphold the Palestinian cause and noted that Israel will have no future. The Hezbollah chief then denounced the ISIL atrocities, saying the terrorist group seeks to destroy all regional countries, as does Israel. Nasrallah pledged to continue the fight against DAESH, even if it turns out to be a long-lasting battle. He noted that the anti-ISIL campaign in fact defends all religions and human values, and that Hezbollah deems it its responsibility to fight the terror group. Well, Press TV's Ali Rizk joins us now from the Lebanese capital, Beirut, with more. Ali said Hassan Nasrallah addressed a number of matters, regional issues, the issue of Palestine, and he also touched up on Lebanon's internal politics as well. Talk to us about the significance of what was said.
Well, you know, Hezbollah is in the midst of an ongoing confrontation, particularly when it comes to the ISIL Takfiri terrorists. Indeed, the martyr who was commemorated in this particular ceremony where Sayyid Hassan spoke today, this martyr was killed in fighting in Syria against these very Takfiris themselves. So I think it's important, or Sayyid Hassan was trying to shed light on the fact that Hezbollah is in until the very end with this fight against Takfiri terrorism. He did also emphasize an important point about Hezbollah's capabilities. Regardless of whether it loses martyrs or not, it's still capable of taking the fight to both enemies, both the Israeli enemy and the Takfiri enemy, which I think was also an important point, particularly when there are many who are saying that, you know, Hezbollah is in a state of exhaustion because of the losses it suffered in Syria, etc. Perhaps the most interesting part of the speech was what he said regarding local Lebanese politics, when he said that, you know, if the other side doesn't want dialogue, let it leave the dialogue table, saying also that Hezbollah was prepared to leave the dialogue table if the opposing party continued with such an attitude. So that, I think, was a quite stern, high-level tone regarding local politics, which we haven't heard for quite some time from Hezbollah's leader. Of course, we also heard the topic about Palestine, what's taking place over there. You know, Sayyid Hassan, this is the normal Hezbollah stance of pledging support, and also mentioning the fact that the new Palestinian generations have shown now that they support the choice of resistance. That was also, I think, somewhat new, that you're referring to the fact that the new youth on the street in Palestine are more determined maybe to get rid of the occupation and to stand up for their rights.
And another important point that I heard myself in Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah's speech was a part where he pointed out that the Israeli regime and the Takfiris are working hand in hand to destroy regional countries.
Yes, well, that is not a new topic, a new point which has been emphasized, but he did, you know, again, make this fact, elaborated on this fact. I think that's very important, in particular for the Sunni street. And I think, you know, if you noticed when he said that there has been a change in public opinion, I think you can relate to these two factors. The Arab world is seeing that ISIL terrorists indeed are doing or pursuing the same, doing the same practices as Israel. You know, cleansing these areas, practicing a racial policy whereby anyone who doesn't belong to us is against us. He gave the example of how Sunnis, for example, in Nigeria, are targeted by Boko Haram. So by equating Israel with the Islamic State and showing how the practices are very similar, I think that would go very far if this point is further made in uniting the Muslim world against ISIS and in showing that ISIS is an enemy of all sides, be it Sunnis or Shia, just like Israel is. So as I said, I think this was very much, these words were very much addressed to the Sunni world, who is changing opinion. Many of the Sunnis in the Arab world appear now to be taking a harsh stance towards ISIL, just like the other minorities in the region.
Very well, thank you, Ali. Press TV's Ali Risk joining us from the Lebanese capital, Beirut.